And it's some 14 weeks to the general elections, exactly 97 more days for Ghanaians to head to the polls and decide who leads the country for the next 4 years. Remember, this is your election headquarters. This is where you get the very latest and up-to-the-minute information regarding all election-related issues. We are mobile, and also you could join us via our various social media platforms with the hashtag ElectionHQ. Remember, if you need to contribute to any of our conversations as far as elections is concerned, the hashtag is ElectionHQ across all our social media platforms. That is on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and on WhatsApp as well, is 0560 800,000. 0560 800,000. You can join the discourse on radio, on television, and online. My name is Kwabna Chenchen Boati. Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk. To our very first story this morning, and the outgoing the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Martey, yesterday stirred controversy when he alleged that some unknown politicians tried to gag him from speaking on issues of national concern with a $100,000 bribe and other incentives. Now, he said some politicians in the country offered him the money in addition to a promise of a 4x4 vehicle and a house at Trasacco if he kept quiet. He also hit back at accusations that the Presbyterian Church of Ghana is supporting the opposing New Patriotic Party. He says the church does not and will not throw its support behind any political party in the country.
When they speak, they shake the foundation. And it is only the church that will address meaningfully the canker going on. And they want to silence all credible voices. Now, today, we will reveal everything to you. This question has, direct relation with the pronouncements of Reverend Professor Martey. Let me tell you why people do not want Professor Martey to talk. Listen, they have tried, politicians have tried all means, all means to muzzle me, to get me, but they can't. They come with bribes, fat envelope, $100,000. Listen. I want everybody to listen. Politicians came to my house with fat envelope, $100,000, not cedis, dollars, and also with the promises that, if you keep quiet, we will give you a house at Trasacco with swimming pool. You know what? We will give you 4-wheel drive. These people were lucky. I did not have big dogs in my house. Else I would have released the dogs to bite them. They have tried all means to muzzle me. They couldn't, and I tell you they can't. And you know what? I will speak today, I will speak tomorrow. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana does not belong to any party. And the Presbyterian Church of Ghana does not support any party. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana is in existence before all political parties came. And I want to say this. We have seen governments over governments. All governments that come to rule our dear nation, we partner, Presbyterian Church of Ghana partner them. Let me say this, and please let this be heard loud and clear. At the moment, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana is partnering NDC government in the governance of our nation. So those who say that Reverend Martey is NPP, maybe they pay my NPP dues for me. that I'm in bed with Nanado, and every morning we eat. They come and then wash the plates for me. Listen, Reverend Mate is more complex than you can think. How can a full professor sell his conscience to one political party? Many penny banye fene di lulute. Now, if you don't know, if you who name Lulutia, Lulute Yobia Wajimia Bre. Wow. So, Reverend Mate is not just like one of them.
So those very comments have triggered quite a lot in the political landscape here in the country, and it has been the most topical issue in the last 18 hours or so. Now, the question many are asking is how to draw the line between a spiritual father who obviously leads the flock, understands their pain and concerns, and a leader who some would say ought to be a lot more circumspect in his utterances, seeing that the nature of some of these utterances are likely to cause a lot of uproar, in the country. But in a bit, we'll likely talk about some of these things, but not specifically to those ones, though. But the General Secretary of the Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong, has cautioned Ghanaians not to be deceived into believing that peace is automatic for country, especially during the election season when tension is high. Now, he's of the opinion peace is not automatic and that we all need to make a conscious effort at it. Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong is General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana. He's my guest on News Desk this morning. Reverend, good morning. Many thanks for joining us.
Good morning, my brother.
Right. We would obviously be looking at this cause you're championing, but because of the issues that have come up over the past few hours, it's just about religion and politics, where to draw the line, and whether or not in seeking the interests of your congregation or your audience, if you become political, there's anything wrong with that?
Yeah, let me first say good morning to your cherished viewers who have allowed us to come into their homes, their hall, their offices, and just to say I'm grateful for the opportunity. Right. One area that in this country, at least we don't beg, we don't go around borrowing, is the area of religion. In fact, if there's an area we have in abundance, is the area of religion. And therefore, it seems to me is an area as a country we need to develop well. We need to build it so that religion and religious leaders, I mean all of them, traditional leaders, Muslim leaders, Christian leaders, can be well positioned to make a more meaningful contribution to national development programs. And so I think we need to explore more the interface between religion and politics. Issues about good governance are areas we need to explore more. Having said that, let me also say that the two institutions, both religious leaders and political leaders, must find better ways of engaging, because we are addressing the same issues. You see, religious leaders are thinking about the common good of their members, life in its fulfillment. And in fact, in this country, before even some of these political parties were formed, churches were into education, religious people were into health. In fact, at the moment, 40% of all health facilities in this country belong to the churches. So whatever you describe it, they are into governance, they are into welfare. The churches are employing, now they are universities and all that. We need religious leaders. I must say it's not only churches that are into education and health, Muslims as well. Traditional leaders. You go to school like Prempeh College, is Menshia, traditional leaders together with Presby Methodists. So that partnership over the years have also made significant contribution. So the same issues politicians are trying to achieve, quality of life, issues about human dignity, employment, good health, quality education. You find that these issues are also issues for religious leaders. And having that in mind, instead of behaving as if they are enemies, religious leaders and political leaders must find better way of engaging, accepting the fact that they are responding to the same Ghanaians, the same Ghanaian challenges, and therefore the partnership must be deepened and must be enhanced.
We'll be coming to the various ways in which politicians and religious leaders can coexist in the interest of the citizenry. But now, from what you say, I get the impression that some political parties see some of these leaders as their enemies or as people who are for one section and not the other. So, in so doing, anything that is said is tagged as such. How do we work around a situation like that?
Yeah, that is why I think the issue you have raised this morning to me is so important and very timely. You know, it's not only some politicians who may see some religious leaders as, you know, their enemies or not friendly. It can also go the other way around. It can happen that you have some religious leaders who may also have some good reasons not to see certain politicians in certain light, you know. But we must have the common good, the bigger picture of the common good of Ghanaians, the people of this country, at all of us, you know. Now, the moment we go that way, then we are only complementing and supplementing our effort. We are not competing to the extent that now a political leader may think that, hey, you are coming in too much, you don't belong here, why are you saying this? Don't you know that when you say this, my opponent will use what you have said against me and all kind of. So maybe we need to open up a bigger dialogue and talk more about this, because at the moment, it seems to me strongly that harmony is not there. The interface is not working well for us.
So, some would say you don't blame these politicians when they come out attacking you because, for Reverend Professor Marty, I'm just using that as an example, some would say he's been very critical of the governing NDC. Very critical, to a point where some suggest that, well, he's even trying to win votes for the opposition NPP. So, if your inferences or comments, though good, seem to paint the picture that, no, you are totally against a particular candidate or party, but you are for another. Is that not a bit problematic? For instance, you go on the tangent suggesting that, well, the president is not surrounded by the wise people. You go on to say, Enyansafwe, where are you? The country is in tatters. We need the right people to lead the country. If you keep making such comments, are you not inviting, some would say, unnecessary pressure and attention?
Yeah, I mean, you've raised an issue. This Presby General Assembly that was held at Abetifi, and yesterday the press conference, you know, for instance, NDC was there. The regional minister, Eastern Region, addressed the General Assembly. I was in the room, you know. After that, the General, after her presentation, Professor Marty spoke. It's interesting that as at now, the remarks that Professor Marty gave after the Honorable Minister spoke, seriously, had not been reported anywhere. Meanwhile, there were press people around, you know. And sometimes I ask myself, because in terms of reporting also, it seems to me sometimes we're having a challenge, because it depends on what the media, you know, is interested in. And at the moment, Ghanaian media is such that good news don't sell. It's bad news. In fact, yesterday, the Presby Church held a press conference. They had just finished a meeting. They read a communique. You know, this comment might have been one of the sideline, you know, but now that had been the dominant.
The main story.
Yes, issues in the communique.
Do you blame journalists for reporting such things?
I would say we have a challenge.
Journalists are not doing the service they're supposed to.
The point is, now media in Ghana, good news, good stories don't sell. Is bad news.
The media,
you know,
the media is churning out content for an audience. If the audience do not appreciate good news, and they appreciate seemingly bad news, what do you do?
But let me come back to the actual issue you raised. I'm wearing Christian Council cloth this morning.
Yes, indeed.
And Christian Council is 87 years this year. If you consider the trajectory, you know, the history of the council, the past 87 years before independence, how the churches function during the military interventions, in fact, even one-party state and Nkrumah, and then during the revolution. You know, even recently during Rawlings' time, let the blood flow. How the Christian Council, which the Presbyterian Church is a member, function. And even during this Fourth Republic, you realize that the churches have made significant contribution. And depending on what they say, where and who is involved, you know, they get all manner of attacks. Today it's NDC. Tomorrow it may be MPP. When MPP was in power, they attacked the churches. When they wanted to take away religion and moral education from the curriculum, from our schools, Christian Council and Catholic Bishop Conference said, no, it wasn't a good story. You see, so this kind of seemingly attack, there's nothing new. We have had that. In fact, there was a time under Nkrumah that an Anglican priest was deported from this country because of what he has said. So this kind of tension between religion, politics, is not new, but that is why earlier when I said we need to work on this, because religion is one of the things that we have in abundance in this country that maybe we need to work on so that it can serve a meaningful need as far as our national development is concerned, rather than seeing it as a group of people and institutions that come to erode somebody's power, prestige, pride.
Okay, this whole issue, I'm tempted to remain on this subject a while longer because of its nature. And this whole issue has become very relevant and topical because over the past 2 weeks or so, I think it was last week, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo mounted a platform, a church platform, and he addressed the crowd. He said a few things. And then Reverend Marty, again, at the time, is purported to have said that, well, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana was ready and willing to partner with the NPP into helping develop the country. That was the first premise. And then this comes in. Now the question for the many who are watching and asking, the questions remain that is it high time we moved beyond this and dissociated religion and politics to an extent where politicians are not even allowed to mount religious platforms for any reason whatsoever, because it's difficult to establish.
You are still coming closer to the issue I'm raising, that the interface between religion and politics must be addressed. We should not take it for granted. And that is what the issue you are raising. For instance, the issue you just, I must say, I'm not a spokesperson for the Presbyterian Church.
I know.
I'm the General Secretary, Christian Council of Ghana. Of course, the
Presbyterian Church is a part of the Christian Council of Ghana.
The Eastern Regional Minister was there in this meeting on Saturday. She spoke. Then Nana came on Monday. I was in the meeting. The statement you just mentioned was made within a context. Nana made a request that if I happen to become the president, I will want the Presbyterian Church to partner with me to develop the country. After that, prayer was said. And when Professor Mate was giving his remarks, she said that the Presbyterian Church, like we have been doing over the years, is prepared to partner with you. In fact, earlier on, he has said the same thing. That is why I said earlier on that why his remark to the Eastern Regional Minister had not been reported is a worry. But why politicians, media people will be interested in political issues that they think will sell is also another thing, because a similar remark was given when the Eastern Regional Minister spoke. And it was friendly, the moderator hugged her, they prayed for her. Nobody
was it news?
Yes, that was not news. The woman spoke wonderfully. The remark Professor Mate gave was just excellent. very welcoming, very open. Nobody reported on that. Monday, Nana Addo came. He just raised a request, and Professor Martin said, like we are over the years, we have partnered with all others. If you happen to become our president, we will partner with you. Then the next morning, that became the news. But I would still want to say, the direction you are going, that can we then have a caveat that no, politicians should not be on church platform?
Should they?
No, what are you talking about?
Should they?
Let me tell you. For instance, today I have seen some faces on your program, both Adum and Joy. You interview Mr. Jako.
Yes.
And he said, I'm a Presbyterian, MPP. Mr. Siedwin Ketia is also a Presbyterian, General Secretary of NDC. Many more. You know.
So they should come there in their individual
they
capacities.
Are not outsiders. We should not treat politicians as our enemies, as outsiders.
There's nothing wrong with having them as part of your congregation, but having them mount podiums.
That is why I've been saying that we need to work on the interface.
How do we work on them?
I think we must raise these issues among political group meetings, even in academic institutions. This issue, that subject, must be raised because it's an obvious, it's a public thing. Religion and politics, some countries, the lines are clear. In this country, it's difficult. People are still swearing. Our president are still swearing with Bible and Quran, you know. So we need to work. It should be academic issue. It should be an issue for the politicians. It should be an issue for the churches.
Do you think we should have a national debate around this?
I will go all out for it.
A debate?
How the form it will take, but that we need to have a discourse. How do we want religion as a social institution, politics as a social institution, and many other institutions? Because now it is not only religion and politics. Traditional leaders are also having a challenge, you know. And these institutions are institutions that are very public, visible. We can't do away with. So how do we position, maybe reposition them, that together we seek the well-being of our people, the common good. We need religion in this country. We need politics in this country. They must work together. How is the issue you have just raised? Can we have a debate? What form? Maybe, Joy, you can raise this issue.
Indeed,
and invite all of us. How
it.
should we handle the interface between religion and politics towards good governance? That is a desire for everybody.
Indeed.
Traditional leaders want to see their people, you know, improving, young people being employed, children getting access to quality education, church people, politicians. And let's have this in mind, that Ghana cannot be developed only by politicians. Let's keep it clear in our mind. It's a collective.
Some say it's the politicians that are dividing the country and ensuring that we do not attain the goals we want.
If they're able to do that, they are doing their job as politicians. What's politics all about?
Division?
They need numbers. They want to know who is on our side.
So divide and conquer?
Not exactly, but they want to know who is on my side. So they must work at it. And if by so doing, they have to separate you from whatever they want, why not? That's politics.
So in summary, they try to divide the numbers, you try to bring together the numbers.
And then we have challenge. Because politicians also want some pastors, all of them, NDC, MPP, all of them will want to have pastors who have some soft spot for them.
Have you had any of these parties approach you?
No, because of the nature of my work. I work with NDC, I have friends, in NDC, good friends.
So you're closer to the NDC than the MPP?
I'm just
why
asking.
are you doing this? It's a question. I'm just asking.
You don't have to do that, Baraka. That's what you have started.
It's just a question.
Oh, it's a question, but it's not a friendly question.
Okay.
But the point is, the nature of my work. I work with almost all the political meetings. I've been to all kinds of meetings, NDC, MPP. Some of them walk into my office. I also go to some of them, their offices. And so you can't be a Christian Council of Ghana General Secretary and distance yourself from the politicians. They write to us. Their manifesto, when we were having this electoral, whether we should do a new voter register or not, NDC wrote to me, gave me a copy of their position. MPP did the same. So this is a common thing.
Okay.
The current constitution, the constituency assembly that drafted it. The then General Secretary, Christian Council, Reverend David Date, was part of it. So Christian Council General Secretary, like other Muslim leaders, like other civil society group, you always are very close with them.
Okay. I know the Christian Council, you've been championing this cause for peace to see that. I mean, you can't just take it for granted and say that Ghana is a peaceful country, so be it as it may, we'll go to the polls and come back successful, nothing will happen. You're championing this cause for peace. Tell us much more about this cause.
Yes. In fact, that's a question I've been waiting for.
Indeed.
Yes. We have about 3 months to election.
Indeed.
One of the major issues for all of us is a national cohesion, national peace before, during, and after election. And this is a concern almost everybody you talk to. Young people, children, elderly people, rich, poor, urban, rural. Everybody will want to see a Ghana that is in unity, that is cohesive, that is moving forward. But that is the point we are making, that we should not assume that it will drop. It will not. It's not automatic. We must work at it. How do you do it? 3 months to election. Now the political temperature is about to rise even more, that because campaign and rallies are going to gather momentum. And how people want to handle their grievances. For instance, when you feel you are right, but somebody is not being fair, whether electoral commission is not fair, whether the police is not fair, whether media is not fair, whoever is not fair, how do you handle it? We have been witnessing kind of mob actions, that you have not been fair to me. And in the process, I mobilize my people to block the road, to attack you, to burn police office, to attack somebody's house because you have sympathy, and whether church people do it, whether Muslim people do it, whether party people do it, we must start addressing this issue, that we must work within the confines of the rule of the law. It should not be that you have not been fair to me, and therefore I take the law into my own hands and do whatever I want to do. If we go that way, if church people, Muslims, political party, if we go that way, this country, we are throwing ourselves into the hands of the dogs.
Reverend, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. Many thanks. We appreciate your time. Yes, indeed.
I appreciate it.
Indeed. Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opunni Frimpong, he is the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana. He's been our guest on News Desk this morning, and he's helped us understand how to draw the distinction between religion and politics. And indeed, he's calling for a national discourse on that very subject matter, because it remains a very topical one, and it remains very relevant as we approach the 2016 general elections. Remember, it is 97 days to the polls. We'll bring you a lot more on the election countdown in subsequent bulletins.